Hey guys, welcome back. So listen, y'all, Kanye West just came out and basically admitted that he don't read. Okay, he was on some podcaster's show and they were talking about this book and the podcaster goes, "Yeah, I know Kanye told me he didn't read the book." And then Kanye goes, "Wait, let me stop you there. Let me stop you in your tracks. Not only did I not read this book in particular, but I don't read any books. I don't read at all. I ain't never liked to read." And I'm like, okay, on one hand, I guess I kind of understand it because I don't really like to read either. Like, I may read like 1 to 2 books a year, but this is the same person that y'all be getting advice from. This is the same person that be telling y'all that slavery was a choice. This is the same person that went to the White House and was trying to free the slaves or whatever he was trying to do. I don't really know. I just feel like he's so politically driven. He's so politically um uh vocal. And for him to come out and basically say that he doesn't read, like he doesn't oh y'all, like what is this?
Actualizing it is extraordinary. Also, when you said I hadn't read this book, I actually haven't read any book. Reading is like eating Brussels sprouts for me. And Ye was telling me
He
that he had
said,
read
"I
some of it.
actually haven't read any book. I actually haven't read any books." Like, I don't understand. Like, and for me, it's like yikes, like yikes. Like this man proves time and time and time. Now listen, I love Kanye West. I think his aesthetic is dope. I think his clothes are dope. I have a couple of his pieces. I have a couple of pairs of shoes. Um, I do like a lot of the music. But I feel like at the core of who that man is he's not bright. He's not it. So I mean, I just wanted to play that for y'all. Now, speaking of Kanye West, his best friend Jason Lee. Okay. We gotta go ahead and talk about Jason Lee. And listen, I know Jason Lee, he did watch one of my videos where I was talking about him and Wendy Williams and things got a little bit testy. He DM'd me and whatnot and basically said, "Hey, you better lay low." Okay, like down Whitney Houston. He was basically like, "I like what you're doing here. Your setup is all cute and dandy. But watch how you talking about me and Auntie Wendy." And I kind of took that as a joke. I was like, ha ha, he, whatever, whatever. I love Jason Lee. Okay. I love all gay black men in the media space. I feel like we need to uplift each other in the media space, even though I do come on here on occasion and try to get Jason Lee together because I kind of feel like Jason Lee, he's kind of like, I don't know. I feel like Jason Lee, he just does things based off of his emotions. He wears his emotions on his sleeves and he just kind of like goes and just says whatever and like bulldozes whoever he feels like is against him. And sometimes I have to come on the platform and be like, Jason, like, hold on now. Let's think about this. Okay, let's add in a little bit of logic here. So I really, really do F with Jason Lee. I do feel like his DM, how was I? I was flattered because I look up to Jason Lee, but I also do feel like it was a little bit of an intimidation factor, tactic, if that makes sense. Like, hey, like, I see you. What you're doing is cute, but you gotta watch them B words. Yeah. Like, I kind of felt like it was a situation like that. But nevertheless, I still fuck with Jason Lee. I like Jason Lee a lot. I think he's dope. Now, in this particular situation, this journalist by the name of, what is this lady's name? McDuffie. Somebody McDuffie. Candice McDuffie. Okay. The title of this article, she wrote this article for The Root that says Jason Lee gets dragged for threatening to reveal, let me put it up, to reveal the names of Tiffany Haddish and Ari Spears accusers. And then you can see where the article was updated because it says, of course, updated. All right. Now, let me read this. It looks like Hollywood Unlocked founder Jason Lee is in hot water, and yet again he put himself there. He recently took to Twitter to share that he knows the names of the two siblings suing Tiffany Haddish and Ari Spears. The family is accusing the comedians of numerous allegations, including sexual harassment, gross negligence, sexual battery, and sexual abuse of a minor. The clip, I never came out and said this, but the clip of them, that little skit, disgusting. Like, who thought that was a great idea? In addition, going back to the article, Haddish is being accused of negligent supervision, failure to warn, breach of something, and constructive fraud for involvement in the skit through a pedophile's eyes, which was recorded when one sibling was just 7 years old. Okay? Whatever. Despite the disturbing nature of the video, which once again has become widely circulated on the internet, Jason Lee insisted on Twitter that he knows who's behind the lawsuit and plans on sharing the information. Okay, so this is what Jason wrote. All right, let me pull it up. Jason Lee wrote at one point in time, "The internet is a wild playground. The skit is clearly trash, but there's a conversation not happening because details are missing. Oh, and I'm going to reveal the people behind the lawsuit. No John or Jane Doe's here." All right. Now, I remember seeing this, and I guess he wrote this on September 3rd, and I'm assuming we're reading a screenshot because of maybe he deleted it. I'm not really sure. Should I go back? Let me do my journalistic integrity here and see if Jason Lee, if he deleted it or if that's still up. Hold on, y'all. He tweets a lot, so I got to go back to September 3rd. It looks like, oh, it's still up there. Here it is. It's still up there. Okay, so he did write that. He said, "I'm going to reveal the people behind the lawsuit. No John or Jane Doe's here." Now, honestly, I feel like there's no misquote here. The quote is true. Okay, so let me just get that straight. And when he said this, when he tweeted this, personally, I was under the impression, because I remember this, I was under the impression that he meant the victims. Okay, so you have the victim's mom, then you have the actual kids, the two kids who were minors at the time, I guess. I was under the impression that Jason Lee was going to reveal the names of the victims, okay, the minors. So that kind of had social media in a tizzy because we were like, okay, wait, hold on, Jason Lee. Like, what are you doing? Like, yeah, tread lightly. So here's the thing. Jason then goes the hell in. Okay, so this is Jason Lee's Instagram page, right? And he posts this, and I was sent this, and I just started doing a deep dive because I'm like, oh my God. Actually, let's go back to this article before we, let me not skip ahead. So they post this tweet and whatnot. It's like a quote retweet of this other guy saying, "Since Jason Lee is trending, let me just remind people that he gave a veiled threat as far as doxing a 14-year-old because he wanted to cake for Tiffany Haddish." Right? So it seems like the person who wrote this article is under the impression that he wanted to dox the said victims or the minors. This person on Twitter is under that impression, and then I was also under the impression, along with Conscious TV, because I know Conscious TV, I think Conscious TV was blocked by Jason Lee, and then he went onto the platform and basically was like, "You're trying to dox the people." So it seemed like a lot of folks were under the impression that he was going to dox the minors or the people who were the victims in this, alleged victims. Now, I say that to say, I hope you guys are following because it's a lot of information. So then today, Jason Lee goes on to the internet, Instagram, of course, his favorite place, and kind of like goes the hell in on this Candice McDuffie lady for writing the article about the situation, about the quote and whatnot. All right. Jason says, "See what this trash bag of a journalist Candice McDuffie tried to do. And she tried to slander my good name. Why? Clicks, clout. I stand by everything I say and do, but everyone who's been following my career knows that there are two things we don't do. A, attack children, and B, out people." Okay. Let's see. This Loch Ness monster? What that mean? This Loch Ness monster wrote an irresponsible post, and as such, I started receiving threats, not the first time and won't be the last. So let's clear up a couple of things. All right. He says, number one, TMZ released the name of the mother who was extorting Tiffany. So if anyone doxed her, it was them. But why didn't this black so-called journalists called him out. Okay, so basically he's saying that he was never going to dox the kids, the minors, or the actual victims. He was going to release the name of the mother. And I guess that's what he meant by, I'm going to release the names of the people who are behind this lawsuit. Okay. Now, I guess we misinterpreted the situation. Me, along with the journalists, along with a whole bunch of people on Twitter, along with Conscious TV, along with everybody else. Okay. We all got it wrong. We misinterpreted what Jason Lee was trying to say. He, I guess, was never going to dox the minors. He was always going to dox the mother, even though I believe his tweet said people, okay, that he was going to release the names of the people, right? It says, I'm going to reveal the people behind the lawsuit, not John or Jane Doe. So maybe he means the mother and the lawyers. Maybe he did mean the kids, but he's saying, no, I didn't mean the kids. I meant the mama. Okay. So going back to his Instagram, and I know this is a lot, y'all. Okay. He goes, number 2, now that my publicists and attorneys applied pressure, they updated the post to say they got it wrong, but the damage is already done. Okay. And then you can see like Tiffany Haddish in the chat doing the clapping emojis. And I'm like, Tiffany, you have bigger fish to fry. Like, I've never been a fan of Tiffany Haddish. So at this point, it's kind of like whatever happens, happens. So he posted this screenshot of the article. And this is the part, I guess it's the Roots Instagram page. This is the part that he really takes an issue with when they say he recently took to Twitter to share that he knows the names of the 2 siblings suing Tiffany Haddish and Aries Spears. Technically, no, Jason Lee never said that. All he said is that he was going to reveal the names of the folks behind the lawsuit. Okay. Lost in translation, a misinterpretation, right? And then this is what he means when he brings up TMZ. Okay, he says, I meant I was going to release the name of the mama, but before I could even get a chance to do that, he says TMZ already did that. So Candice McDuffie, why did you not call out TMZ in the same way that you're trying to call me out? Okay. And then, yes, they did update the article, right? So after, I guess, Jason Lee, the attorney, sent some letters and applied some pressure, Candice McDuffie and the editors over there at The Root did, do this update of the article that says The Root has received an update that the previously reported quote was taken out of context and that Lee was referring to exposing the mother of the alleged victims and not the victims themselves. Okay, I know y'all see that. All right. So the journalist took it out of context. Honestly, I'm not saying that the journalist is right, but I took it out of context too. I thought he was meaning the kids. All right. So let's go back to his Instagram page. He says, as a champion of black media and black journalists, this be the that make me want to just do me. All right. But there are too many great black storytellers out there working hard to move culture for me to do that. But this one and The Root can't ever eat at any table I build, losers. I hope I read that right. But this one and The Root can't ever eat at any tables I build, losers. Y'all getting sued. Fire Candice. So then that's when I was like, okay, Jason. Jason, technically, he does have a leg to stand on. He technically does have a leg to stand on. I do agree with him to a certain extent. I feel like, yes, the journalist, you could say, got it wrong, misinterpreted what Jason Lee was trying to say, which resulted in, I guess, this, which was some sort of threat. This weird guy by the name of Jason Stewart, I guess, DM Jason and said, hey, dog, if and when you expose that girl's name, I'm local and I will run up on you. You should check me out. I've already been convicted of a violent crime, so I don't give a F. You really should be more careful, bro. Okay, so Jason Lee is, he's laying out his case. He's like, because of this false narrative that The Root has tried to drive home, I am now receiving death threats. Okay, so he does have a leg to stand on. I'm not going to lie about the situation. But I don't really like the fact that he took the Instagram and said, y'all getting sued, and then proceeds to say, fire Candice. Candice updated the article, Jason. What else do you want? She went back to the article, revised it, and said that the reported quote was taken out of context. So what else do you want for the root to do? To delete it? They've already updated it. So I don't really understand, like, I don't know. I took a big long pause because I'm really trying to think about this. Like, am I missing something? So anyways, that's not it, y'all. So then and I'm dead that he used this. Like, why you post her picture like that? Jason talking about this trash bag of a journalist. And then he said Loch Ness. What that mean, Loch Ness? I gotta Google that, Loch Ness, LOC. Because he edited it. It was spelled differently. Loch Ness? What that mean? Shoot, we don't know. Anyways, so okay, that was the first Instagram post, and then he let us see the letter that him and his lawyers sent to the Root and Candice McDuffie and everybody else, over there at the publication. He says in an Instagram caption, "Somebody get the Root." Okay, get their boss on the line, which is Vanessa, this lady right here. She, I guess, is the editor-in-chief, Vanessa K. DeLuca, editor-in-chief over there at The Root. All right. Excuse me. So he says, get Vanessa on the line. Step 1 is suing their ass. Send a takedown notice stating the obvious. It was an untrue quote. Which that's the part I don't agree with. It was a true quote. I think the context in which the narrative was spinned is what was incorrect. But okay, Jason, I'm gonna let you have that. He says, number 2, the title was positioned to call out that I was getting dragged. I was only getting dragged after they posted this, which I don't really think that that's really the case, because this was posted on 9/9 of 2022. That was 10 days ago. And I remember people going in on him after he tweeted it on September 3rd, talking about some slow your roll, because I know Conscious had made a whole thing where he was like, I don't know why Jason Lee would block me, and then proceeded to go to hell in. And I kind of thought Conscious was doing the most. I'm like, why the hell is you going in? Like, first off, somebody blocks you, that don't mean you going, like, he called him a Bigfoot and he called him all sorts of names. And I was like, okay, like, you really are pressed about being blocked. Okay. Not to take the side of Jason Lee, but I'm like, that's weird. Like, you get blocked and then you just go on the internet and like drag him for filth. Like, okay. But I feel like the Root wasn't the first ones to drag him. But maybe, okay, we're just gonna, stick with Jason's story. Right? Then he says, number 3, they are the only people who wrote a story with this viewpoint and quote, which there's nothing wrong with a story having a certain angle. There's nothing wrong with that. That's exactly what it's called in journalism. It's called an angle. For instance, let's take the Queen passing away. If I'm on a news channel and I go, the Queen has passed away, let's look at her legacy and how it positively impacted the world. And then we play a package. Okay, so that's one angle. We're chronicling the positive legacy of Queen Elizabeth II post her passing. Okay, that's called an angle. Now, say I'm a whole different news anchor and I go, Queen Elizabeth II has just passed. Let's take a look at these folks down there in London who have stated that the Queen's legacy has been tainted due to her upholding these notions of colonialism. Play the package. Okay, y'all see that? Now, which one was correct and which one was wrong? They were both right. Okay, there was nothing wrong with either of those angles. The difference is it's just a different angle. One had a positive spin on the queen's death, and then one was a bit more negative, but that doesn't mean that one is above the other. It's just a different angle. So when Jason Lee says they're the only people who wrote a story with this viewpoint and quote, well, I don't really feel like that's anything that they did wrong. The quote came from your Twitter page. So it's not an untrue quote if it came from you. Like, I feel like he's making it seem like, oh, like the quote is totally wrong. Like it's a misquote. I feel like he's making it seem like this is a misquote, and it's not a misquote, but it's probably a misinterpretation, like I've already said. And then who cares what their viewpoint is? Okay, so they have a different angle. Journalists have different angles about stuff all the time. So I just really like the way Jason Lee's going about this. I'm just like, it's like I'm with you, but then I'm not. It's like I'm with you, but then it's like you're going off on the deep end. It's like I'm with you, but I feel like you're reaching. And then he goes, "Q's bitch, better have my money." Okay. So then he posts Vanessa. So shady, Jason. Why you post this picture of Vanessa and her husband like that? Chum. He says, this is Vanessa and her husband. Vanessa is the editor. Oh, wait. I don't have it over here. He says, Vanessa is the editor-in-chief at The Root. I used to know and respect Vanessa before she allegedly got fired from Essence. Jason. Okay. Y'all caught that shade? Okay. I used to know and respect Vanessa before she allegedly got fired from Essence. I need some bombs. I got the sound effects somewhere, y'all. Now, I know damn well Vanessa did not approve of this story and that the Loch Ness Monster wrote about me. I know I read that wrong. Now, I know damn well Vanessa did not approve this story that the Loch Ness Monster wrote about me, because if she did, I know for sure she would have extended the professional courtesy of contacting me to verify the quote. Now, here's another problem that I have with him. I feel like Jason Lee is like, he starts off right, but then it goes awry. Okay. I am not a journalist. However, I have taken journalism classes, and the field that I am in is journalistic adjacent. Okay. So what I do requires a little bit of journalism. Even though I'm not a journalist, I'm a commentator, but in order to be a commentator, there's a little bit of journalism involved. So anyways, I say that to say, Jason Lee is saying you should have reached out to me to verify the quote. Okay. I agree, then I disagree. I agree with the fact that if it's not really known, like definitively that this person said this quote, we don't want to misquote. So let's call the source and verify if this quote is true. Okay. But that's not really the case here. I don't really see a need for the people to verify the quote. If you wrote the quote on Twitter, I don't have to verify your quote if you verified it yourself on your verified Twitter. There's a reason why there's a verified badge on your Twitter. It's not like this came from a random Instagram blog, a random Twitter page. It came from your verified. You have a blue check on your Twitter, Jason Lee. You sure do. So if you have a verified Twitter, anything coming out of your Twitter profile is a verified quote by you, is it not? And then with that also being said, I mean, that's just pretty much the bottom line. That's the bottom line. Now, maybe he wanted The Root to have courtesy in the fact that, okay, you wanted them to reach out to you for comment. That's different. Okay, I think that's what you're talking about, Jason Lee. They don't have to verify a quote that you clearly said. You wanted them to reach out to you for comment. Am I making sense? So if you would have liked the professional courtesy to be reached out to make a comment on your own quote that's on your verified Twitter, that makes a little bit more sense. But we don't have to verify a quote that you verified yourself. I mean, I'm just saying. I don't think Jason Lee's going to like this. Anyways, so I say all of that to say, so then he goes on, that's, let me pull it up. That's responsible journalism, not whatever this is. I'm not trying to snatch anyone's edges or what's left of them today, but y'all better fix this. Now, why he do that? Knowing that he put up this picture of this girl and her husband, and then the forehead, and then it's just like super messy and petty. Jason, what? Jason be reading the girls down. Jason be reading the girls down, honey. And listen, I love it because it's entertaining. Now, here's the thing. I think the part that bothers me, I see what Jason Lee is talking about. He definitely has some valid points. I just feel like how he packaged it wasn't really, I just don't agree with a lot of it. With that also being said, I think the thing that bothers me the most is the fact that in this first Instagram post, he wrote, "Fire Candice." He says, y'all are getting sued, fire Candice. And let's say, okay, Candice made a mistake. Candice made a mistake. She misinterpreted the quote and she chose an angle that wasn't based in, I guess, what Jason Lee is calling the truth. He never wanted to dox the two minors who were the two minors at the time. He always was referring to the mother, which that was not clear. Okay. So let's say, okay, Candice McDuffie, this lady right here, okay, with the pink lipstick and the glasses. Let's say she made a mistake, okay? Candice made a mistake. She ain't know. She should have reached out for verification, okay? She should have reached out for comment, really. Okay, let's say that's the case. For you, and then she updated it, right? So she goes back and she updates the article. She makes it clear what everything is. She says that we took the quote out of context and he was referring to the mother. So they made right by Jason Lee, in my opinion. And then Jason Lee proceeds to go to Instagram and then say, fire Candice. I just kind of feel like you saying fire Candice is just so OD. I feel like you sending the letters like, I feel like it's OD, especially after you tried to kill the queen off 3 months early. Okay? And you guys, Jason Lee has a rebuttal for that too. Okay? I'm like, okay, us in the commentating space, us in the media space, us in journalism and stuff like that, we make mistakes. Y'all, we make mistakes, including Jason Lee. Because remember when he cut off the lifeline of the queen 3, 4, 5 months early. I don't know when it was, but it wasn't true. And then he stood by it and said that he had receipts, and then it ended up being a lie. Not a lie. I'm not going to say it ended up being a lie, but it ended up being a mistake. Okay? So after it was proven that the queen is still alive and she was still on her she was still on her Zoom calls and whatnot, then Jason Lee, he had Blue, what's her name? Blue Telsuma, whatever her name is. Which, ooh, girl, why'd you get in the middle of that? He had Blue come up with a whole article talking about these are the reasons why we thought the queen was dead. Whatever. Foolish. Now, I say all of this to say we all make mistakes, including Jason Lee. Right? So if we all make mistakes, and I don't think that girl's mistake was that big of a mistake for you to be calling on her firing Jason. Like, come on now. And Jason ain't gonna like this. I'm kind of scared. Okay. And I'll let you guys know why I'm scared in a second. Let me go to his Instagram stories. Because he actually somebody brought up the queen thing. Hold on. I'm not prepared. Somebody brought up the queen thing and he had a really nice, long, lengthy response to it. Yeah, let's see. All right. Look at him in, what magazine is this? I don't know what magazine this is, but this is cute. I love that. He's in Atlanta filming Wild 'N Out. All right, so remember when he killed the queen off, right? Someone mentioned this. Wait, how I pause this? Someone mentioned that. Someone said, I know you're not talking about responsible journalism coming from the one who posted about Queen Elizabeth's death months prior to her actual death. Ain't that the pot calling the kettle black? And you know what? I'm not going to disagree with Lily. Jason screenshotted this and responded and said, I'm on a flight and got time today. He said, at Lily, the queen who was accused to have had something to do with the passing of Princess Diana, which that is speculation. So if we're going to talk about responsible journalism, that's nothing but speculation. Okay. The queen who defeated a family member who was accused of being a pedophile. I don't know nothing about that. The queen who created a racist atmosphere for the first black princess, which drove her and her family to flee the country for safety. Excuse me. That's who you're bringing up in this argument. If you don't go sit your black ass down somewhere. Ooh, not your black ass, child. Here's the thing. Jason, what does that have to do? You bringing up the pedophile, you bringing up the Princess Diana, you bringing up Meghan Markle has nothing to do with the subject at hand. That had nothing to do with the subject at hand. Is you're calling for the firing of this journalist, but you killed the queen off. And so instead of answering for that, you speculated about all of these sensational, salacious rumors about the queen. I mean, I'm just saying. I'm not saying I'm on the side of the queen, and I'm not trying to be against Jason Lee. But here's the thing. Love Jason Lee, but I just have to call it out like how I see it. What? That had nothing to do with nothing. So you lost that argument because your rebuttal was not about anything. And I got to hurry up because my MacBook dying. So let's actually back it up on his story. And this is why I say I'm scared, because he going to hell in, y'all. Okay. He wrote, some of these black journalists and YouTubers, oh, I'm scared, are so jealous of me. They try to jump at anything to discredit me or attack me, and they always end up looking foolish. Clout really got y'all out here looking like desperate ass washed up wannabes. You employees better stop playing with me on the clock. Because when I make them calls boss to boss, you're going to be out here looking for some PPP loans to pay for that trailer you live in. I've proven time and time again I'm not the one. I take my credibility and respect in the industry seriously, and I will destroy anyone that tries to harm what I built. Child, now Jason, do not be hitting me up in the DMs, and let me be on camera for this. Do not be hitting me up. Listen, do not be hitting me up. How Portia say, take this mic off me. I'm scared. I texted the executive producer and I was like, I want to talk about this because I'm finding this to be really fascinating and I feel like I can contribute some valid points. But I just don't need Jason Lee DMing me talking about some, what you doing? Why you say that? You better watch what you say. I don't want no cease and desist. I don't want no letters, retracting. I don't want none of that. Okay, y'all, take this mic off me. I'm scared. No, I love Jason, but I just don't agree. Like I said, I agree with him to a certain extent, but I feel like he's taking it way over to the edge. And it is kind of like calling the pot, how it go? Calling the kettle black, calling the pot the kettle, whatever it is. Y'all know the quote. I feel like it's a little bit of that. Just a little bit. He says, and one more thing. I'm building my nigga you not invited list. Oh, y'all. Jason, put me on the list. Put me on the list. I want to come up there to Hollywood. He goes, I'm building my nigga you not invited list. It applies to anything I build, anything I host, anything that anybody wants me to be a part of. I'm not just a talking head or executive. I'm a boss who's respected by bosses. And while everyone else doesn't have the freedom to call out the cap in the industry, I feel obligated to exercise the freedom I have to do it. You will not play on my name. Hot new hip hop, you're next. Oh shit, I ain't even put it up there, but here y'all can see that he wrote that. Okay, he wrote that. Okay, and let's see, and then he posted that, and he said, the look you give when you allow your unqualified staff writers, to write lies about, wait, what? Hold on, y'all. Am I slow or can he not write? The look you give when you allow your unqualified staff write lies about culture leaders, not today. Okay, I feel like it's him and not me. And then he did that, and yeah, so all in all, I feel like the journalist did make a mistake. She misinterpreted the quote. But I feel like Jason Lee is just, he took an inch, and I feel like he's running a marathon. Okay, just call Jason Lee Sonia Richards Ross or Usain Bolt at this point, all right? Y'all let me know how y'all feel about the situation. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to create a great day.